Good afternoon and welcome to ATN Society Watch. This is a program where we ventilate societal issues. We give them aggregate attention with a view to providing solutions that will benefit humanity. Let's go through the headlines. Crime. Woman arrested in possession of live cartridges. Jam. 15,000 fake admission letters uncovered. DSS. Poorest Nigerians to receive 50,000 naira. And viral story, U.S. lawmaker Moore tackles Kwankwaso. We are open for sponsorship of this program, jingles and advert placement, news and events coverage, personality, society and political interviews, product service promotion, and commercials. Watch us live on www.atlanticnetwork.tv. You're also on Avo TV channel 205, Limex TV platform, Ifestech platform, Apple TV, Niger TV, and Iroko TV. Connect with us on all our ATN socials. Subscribe, like, and share. Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1. We are on X on Atlantic TV Net. We go on a break. When we get back, I'll introduce my guest and we'll dive right into the discuss. Please stay with us. Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. You're still watching Society Watch on the Atlantic Television Network. Here with me in the studio to dive into this critical reports is Chukwusi Ike. Chukwu is a public affairs analyst. We're so glad to have you join us.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Glad to be here.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the show. Let's get right into the discuss. Operatives of the Delta State Police Command have arrested a 62-year-old woman, Chata Timide, for allegedly transporting 178 live cartridges concealed in a sack along the Bomadi-Tuomo Road. The arrest occurred during a joint stop-and-search operation involving Bomadi Police Division and local vigilantes on October 30. Officers reportedly became suspicious after noticing the uneasy behavior of a motorcyclist conveying the woman. A search of her belongings revealed the cartridges neatly packed for delivery. During interrogation, the suspect confessed to purchasing the ammunition from the Onitsha main market, a known commercial hub in Anambra State. Police spokesperson SP Bright Edafe said the discovery prompted further intelligence work to determine the destination and intended use of the ammunition. The suspect and the recovered cartridges have since been transferred to the State Command headquarters for discreet investigation, with authorities seeking to uncover potential links to armed groups or illicit arms dealers. Over 60 years in such an illicit trade. In a nation where we complain about insecurity, let's talk about it. What are your thoughts on this report?
I don't think the focus is on the age. There is no age limit to crime.
Right.
Even though it's conventional thinking may think that, youths are more likely to be involved in crime. But we have seen elderly people involved in crime as the ringleaders, And as they say, the leopard doesn't leave its spot. If somebody has been involved in crime at his young age, he or she would unlikely give it up because he has become old. He would likely, maybe he may transit, or she may transit, like in this case now, maybe from a field soldier to, a carrier of the weapon. Even tend to use the age as an advantage. People will see the grey head and, give you a right of it that, this is an elderly person. Right. I may not subject you to some scrutiny or that. But good 18, this person has been arrested, like the investigations or the report says further investigation is ongoing. I hope those investigations should be thoroughly done so as to unveil the purpose for which those arms, those cartridges were purchased, and also those who sold it to her.
At Onitsha Market.
At Onitsha Market, wherever it is, once it is within this country. I mean, if it's across border now, we will think of, collaboration, but within this system is still good 18. We still have the same federal police, so it's easy to collaborate with. It's even a neighboring state. It's easy for them to collaborate with the authorities in Anambra State and get the people arrested. And this tells why there's a whole lot of criminality in these places. Look at where she was taking the cartridges to Bomadi. If you know Bomadi very well, on Delta State, that's a water area, given all the issues about militancy, waterway kidnappings and all those stuff. So you can really see that these guys may not be short of ammunition. They probably have their ready supply every time, which tells why they are always, they seems to be at the top of their game. And I think our authorities, to the police people, all security agencies should also prove to them that we are a step ahead of you. Right. This type of arrest should be followed up with thorough investigation to ensure that everyone involved in it is found, with the possibility of arresting them and successfully prosecuting them. Enough of this trade. The good thing about this thing is this. One thing is sure, even before the investigation is concluded, there is no doubting what the cartridges will be used for. I mean, there is no question whether it was going to be used for illegal use or for legal use. There is no legal use to it. Right. It would necessarily have been for criminal purposes, or at least, to put it kindly, for an illegal purpose. I mean, she wasn't going to use it to make any form of soup or delicacy. Neither was she going to supply it to the conventional security system. So it was probably going to some criminal element who will use it to continue to wreak havoc on the system.
Right. Now, why do you think that we now have people? I wanted to begin with how, we're talking about insecurity. More ammunitions are coming in to the country. More bullets are coming into the country. More cartridges are coming into the country. But then, why a market like Onitsha Market? I remember I have been to that market, I think, maybe twice. It's a busy market, busy trade place. Why do you think that this sort of business is situated in a market and nobody blew the whistle on this business?
The thing is that we are not even sure, which is why a thorough investigation is needed. We are not even sure if these cartridges came into the country or they originated from the country. Maybe they were manufactured in the country. This is one of the things I hope the investigation would review. If it is imported into the country, how did it go through the borders with all the security agencies at the seaport and at the land borders? How did it pass them by and get all the way to Onitsha? How many more has gone into the Nigerian system if it came from outside the country? If it is manufactured locally, which is a possibility, what more can those guys manufacture? If it was manufactured locally, how many more do they manufacture? How come, where do they manufacture it? How come it escaped government, attention? Because to the best of my knowledge, every business should be registered. How is this operating without? Could it be an illegal arm manufacturing company? How does it operate without the government knowing? These are the things that should be unveiled. Then to your question of how it operates in such a market, it's something that definitely begs for answer. The thing is that for an ordinary person like you and I, you may step into the market, you may be into the market or even step in there to go buy something without even, as much as you may think you know the market, you may not know that this type of things operate there. But the criminal elements who patronize them just know where they are, how to get there. And this is also why the investigation should be thorough. The reason why they would go in such a place is to serve as a cover. You would think it's a genuine business that go on in an open market, not knowing that illegality is happening there. But here again lies the danger. If they could successfully say, I've talked about the source of coming, if they can successfully sell these things there, if it is manufactured locally, what other arm are they manufacturing and selling in an open market? What danger, safety concern does it pose for the people doing business there, maybe either as traders or who come to buy? Is it possible that they even sell other kind of explosive? They're just a question that may endanger. It's possible that other innocent traders there and buyers who come to that place every day may just be sitting on a keg of gunpowder without knowing it, only for something to happen one day and everybody wonders how, which is why I think the investigation should be thorough. There are many things that should be uncovered. There are many questions begging for answers, and definitely we can't wait to get the answers to these things.
Thank you so much for your insight on that report. Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board says it has uncovered over 15,000 candidates who forged admission letters to qualify for the National Youth Service Corps scheme. Registrar of JAMB, Professor Ishak Oloyede, disclosed this during the 2025 Batch C pre-mobilization workshop in Abuja. He said the fraud was detected through an internal audit and record verification across institutions. Oloyede revealed that some deputy registrars, vice chancellors, and 4 JAMB staff had already been arrested and were facing prosecution for their roles in the scandal. He warned institutions and officials against manipulating records, stressing that those found guilty would face legal consequences. Meanwhile, NYSC Director General Brigadier General Olakunle Nafiu expressed concern over the rise in fake credentials, multiple registrations, and identity theft during mobilization. He said the fraudulent act strengthened the integrity of the NYSC scheme and urged stakeholders to tighten verification systems and uphold transparency. The NYSC DG also highlighted the need for continuous digital security upgrades, noting that despite improved efficiency through the NYSC integrated system, cyber threats and fake study centers remain major challenges. Well, recently, I don't know, I did share with you on one of our shows a report that was conducted by JAM Still for many students that did come to, write the JAM exam having multiple NIN verification numbers, right? They were able to have multiple centers to write it because they were able to, generate multiple NIN with a single name. When you think about that, what are your thoughts on this report?
It exposes institutional weakness in Nigeria. NIN, for example, we talked about having a central server, if I'm not making a mistake. Right. And the idea is to collate data. Once my data, the fingerprints are taken, once my fingerprint is taken and a number assigned to me, even if I wanted to manipulate a system, whatever name I'll use, I'll still present the same fingerprint. So if the fingerprint repeats 2 times, it should be identified that this person has been registered somewhere, whether that name is found in the system or not. As far as the fingerprint shows that this fingerprint has been taken before, I shouldn't be granted registration again. So it questions their internal mechanism, the credibility of their staff. Could it be that a staff would ignore the warning from the system that there is this fingerprint has already been taken and go ahead and take it? What of the face? Why do we have our pictures there? It's not because so that you can, the system. I mean, we all use systems and do registration and all that. If I've registered on a particular website for something that should be registered once, if I come again to register, it will tell me that this information is already
in the system.
In the system, you can't proceed again. Now, that should be the same thing here. So how do they beat this system? Then, NYSC, how does NYSC recruit members? It is not in the marketplace. They don't go to Onitsha market. They don't go to Rumokoro or Idumota. It is through the schools. So if there is a forgery, that means some schools are culpable. Because to the best of my knowledge, or maybe JAM's NYSC staff inserted some names. Even your letters, your posting letters are collected from the school. Right. So if, for example, I have an NYSC, my name is there, where am I supposed to pick up the call-up letter? I don't know, but in schools, in some schools, you go to the exams and record, I know that. Now, the names would have been submitted from the school, and the pick-up letter should be from the school. So, is it possible, I'm just thinking, is it possible to send to a school a call-up letter of a name it didn't send ab initio?
To the tune of 15,000.
Maybe that 15,000 is spread abroad, but let's say University of XYZ, Rumokoro, never submitted any name like Ikechukwu Nwankwo Akimbola Abdurrahman, and you then NYSC present that call-up letter. Is there no way the school can verify that this call-up letter that is here is not our student? How did it fly this check? You see, we have institutional problem in Nigeria. And another thing is this: those who have been caught with forged certificates, even though the Constitution clearly states is a crime, how have we treated them? Recently, somebody resigned from the federal government on account of certificate forgery. Unfortunately, that fellow was wished well in his future endeavor. A guy that should have been arrested for an obvious crime was let off the hook. So you see how we inadvertently make people believe that all you need to do is succeed. More like the 11th commandment, thou shalt not be caught. If you are not caught, you can go free. Just make sure. I mean, if precedents have been set, even from the high places, people will become more afraid to commit crime. But where you let people go, maybe for political affiliation, these smaller ones will be emboldened to do the same, because they have example. Who knows how many people, such people at high places would have given example that do it, nothing will happen. They have themselves as example. I mean, we have cases where people have been accused of certificate forgery. Former Minister of Finance resigned for same NYSC forgery. Nothing happened to her. Nobody prosecuted her. Her excuses were just accepted as somebody helped her process it. Doesn't make any difference. So this is the challenge we have created in our system. So if we must clean the system, we must be sincere to clean it and punish everyone. See, our laws should not be like the cobweb. You know what the cobweb is? The cobweb catches only small animals, insects. An elephant can trample on the cobweb. An elephant is too big. Even as small as a rat can trample on the cobweb and won't be caught. But the cobweb perfects itself in catching small insects. We shouldn't have a system where our laws only catches the small animals, like the insects, while the big ones can trample on it and go away. That will definitely give rise to this type of things. It's unfortunate, but definitely we need to clean our system.
Thank you so much for your insight on that report. I really, really enjoyed the analogy of the spider web and catching big animals and focusing on the small fish. Thank you so much. The Director General of the Department of State Services, Adeola Ajayi, has approved cash donations of 50,000 naira each to 7,774 of the country's poorest citizens. The initiative is part of the agency's non-kinetic approach to strengthening national security through social welfare. It aims to complement the federal government's efforts to ease the impact of ongoing economic reforms. According to the insider report, beneficiaries were carefully selected through collaboration with local authorities, including traditional rulers, religious leaders, and security heads. Each local government identified 10 of its most vulnerable residents. The support package, which totals about 387 million naira, is designed to win hearts and minds by promoting inclusivity and easing hardship in local communities. Officials say the gesture also reflects a shift in the DSS's strategy, focusing not only on intelligence and enforcement, but also on community trust building and human security. What are your thoughts on this report?
Can you help me with the meaning of DSS again?
Department of State Services.
Not Department of State Charity Organization or something. I mean, totaling this amount should have done the DSS better than embarking on this. I don't want to call this charity. You see, I am not in any way against charity. If these guys had even come together and said, okay, you know what, let each of our staff, as far as it is not forced on the staff, let us contribute money. We are so desirous of charity. Let us contribute money and help maybe each command, however they are structured, contribute some money and help the poorest of the poor within your community. Oh, I'll give them a round of applause. But to use budgetary allocation for this type of thing, I think it is a no. Already you have a Ministry of Human Resources that in most cases has proven to be inhumane anyway. But the place of DSS, they cannot say, oh, they don't want to rely on intelligence alone. No, DSS, security information gathering, is an intelligent work. There is no alternative to it. You see, the danger with this is this. This, to my thinking, and if properly checked, maybe a misappropriation of funds, not necessarily an embezzlement that one official embezzled it, but you have used money meant for something else, Why what that money is meant for suffers, which is security. That money would have been better for intelligent gathering, for equipping themselves than this, because this will not solve the security challenges we are facing. This will not even solve the poverty problem we are facing. I mean, this may just be a one-off thing, so how does that help anybody? Well, we would have been better served if that money was used for security purposes and improve our security system. So I think our agencies should be focused on their core mandate and leave some of these diversionary or dancing to the gallery, it eventually does nobody no good.
Let's talk about the poorest of the poor. Who do you think those people are? The poorest of the poor.
Maybe I should ask you, as a media person, maybe you help us with the definition. You see, in the Nigerian system,
I mean,
that may just be a cliche that means nothing, that can be used to explain away funds used.
You know, the poorest of the poor. How do we identify the poorest of the poor? Where is the data that shows the poorest of the poor?
That is a question that I've been begging for answer, even from the days when the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs have been chanting poorest of the poor, poorest of the poor. This is a country there is a dearth of data in this country. How do you, even with this data now, how do they identify the 10? You cannot say you told the local government, the traditional rulers. Local governments have more than one traditional ruler. So let's say in Obiakona, how many traditional rulers do we have? Which of them brought one in his community? How do we assess the poorest of the poor? Those poorest of the poor, are they from Ikwere local government, from Obiakpo, from, we have 23 local governments. So which of them brought in the 10 persons? So how did they identify this poorest of the poor? I mean, it begs for answer. It begs for answer. Like I said, this is a country that we are in their need of data. There is a dearth of data here. Most of the times, even with the multiple of information that have been collected from you, both from your telecommunication provider, your bank, and those things, if you still need key service, somebody told me recently how he went to renew driver's license. Even though he has been an old driver, they couldn't find his data. So it was assumed that he was a fresh driver. I mean, you still have this type of thing. So how did they come to this conclusion? Maybe they just sit down and do mini, and whoever the Lord falls to, whether in spite of the person's financial situation, they pick you as the poorest of the poor. Of course, if they wear you that tag for the benefit of 50,000, you may collect it even if you're not.
But in real time, what can 50,000 naira do to ease poverty in Nigeria for 10 people?
Absolutely not much. Absolutely not much. If they give the average person 50,000, would that person accept it? Oh, with wholeheartedness, the person would accept it. But would that move the person an inch from the poverty level? Absolutely no. It can't move anybody an inch from his or her financial situation. It may help you buy some things. Maybe buy, I hear that a bag of rice has reduced. I'm here to confirm. Maybe it can give you the boldness to price a bag of rice. Even if you don't buy it, at least you can boldly price the bag. I mean, you have that confidence that I just priced the bag of rice, but definitely doesn't.
Because you have 50,000.
Yeah, you can price even if you don't buy. At least that you can boldly price, but it doesn't move you away from poverty level. It may not even guarantee that you purchase the bag, but at least you can have hope that I just priced the bag of rice, which maybe you wouldn't have thought of without the 50,000.
If we are trying to bridge this, for many people, a lot of, opinion leaders have come out to say that the poverty level in Nigeria is declining by the day, based off of, the inflation, and then seemingly we've lost the middle class to some degree, right? You're either up there or you're not. So if you're not up there, you're actually,
Yeah, for a very long time in Nigeria, even before the completely wiping away of the middle class, for a very long time, what appeared as middle class in Nigeria, I'm not talking of the elsewhere, was actually the beautifully decorated poor, or the progressive poor, But now, even that...
What do you mean by the progressive poor?
They are poor, but they seem to be better than...
They are heading towards riches.
They are not really heading towards rich, but they are a step, in that category of poor people. They are a step ahead of, maybe if you come to that community of poor people. Let's use neighborhood, for example. Okay. If they all live in the I face me, I face you kind of, maybe this other guy, though he's poor, but he can afford to give himself a pass my neighbor generator. Whether he can afford fuel the generator or not is a different thing, but he has the generator. Periodically he can, try to on it and everybody thinks it comes on, then he tells them, oh, no fuel. At least there is a hope that there is a generator there. So he is not necessarily any better, but, he just passed my neighbor, and he takes solars in that they can always, when there is no light, everybody is in darkness, his children can watch television for 1 hour before the generator goes off and all that. So that's just the difference, nothing much. So nothing really much. So when people say poverty level is declining, in real time is it? And don't forget that the poverty we have in Nigeria is multidimensional. And for some people, they are comprehensively poor. They are all around poor. They are poor in education, health, everything. So when you say it's declining, what part of it is declining? Is it in food production? Is it in health service? Is it in, in some places, even network provision is poor. So which one have you dealt with?
Thank you so much for your insight on that report. I made lots of questions and answers with the last analysis. But thank you so much for your insight on that report. We head to foreign news, where U.S. lawmaker Representative Riley M. Moore of West Virginia has accused former Kano State Governor Rabiu Kwankwaso of complicity in the persecution of Christians in Nigeria. Kwankwaso, who denied allegations of Christian genocide while reacting to Nigeria's designation as a country of particular concern, said insecurity in the country affects all citizens equally. But Moore, in a post on X, faulted the former governor's comment, alleging that Kwankwaso implemented Sharia law in Kano, which prescribed death for blasphemy. He challenged the NNPP leader to explain his role in the policy's human rights implications. The controversy follows a statement by U.S. President Donald Trump, who threatened military action against Nigeria over reported Christian killings. Trump said he had asked the Pentagon to prepare a possible plan of attack if the violence continued. Reacting, a Labour Party's presidential candidate Peter Obi urged both nations to pursue diplomatic engagement. He said Trump's remarks were alarming, but stressed that insecurity in Nigeria stems from failed leadership and poor governance rather than religion. Obi called for renewed cooperation between Nigeria and the United States to address rising insecurity, warning that escalating tensions could endanger peace and stability in the region. I mean, this has been in the media, it's been on the forefront. We've had, several opinion leaders and giants putting forth their opinion as regards to Trump's threat of coming into Nigeria if the leaders do not fix the country. What are your thoughts on this report?
It's unfortunate that we have to come to the point where we have an outsider, as it were, to threaten us to fix our country, or he comes, attack or drive out the invaders for us. It's like it's akin to your neighbor, no matter how far away that neighbor is, threatening you to feed your children, or I'll come feed them. Or maybe drive away feed your children, drive away what is disturbing them, or I come do it for you. And I don't think this argument internally, whether there is Christian genocide or not, is very fantastic. For me, the fact that people are being killed, communities are being wiped out, is enough wake-up call, or should have been enough wake-up call for the authorities. And if there is anything I would want this threat to do for us, it is for it to serve as a wake-up call to the system. We don't have to wait until an outside force comes in to do it. I mean, if you ever spoke to people in Benue, read up their tweets and even follow them, there are some communities in those regions where if you go there now, what you have there is less than 1/3 of its original inhabitants living there. And you wonder where the other 2/3 are. They have not, the other 2/3 have not jackpad, whether local jackpad or internal jackpad. Sadly, the other 2/3, 1/3 is in IDP camp, and these are the ones that would even sing praises that they can find their way in IDP camp. And then the other 1/3 is beneath the ground, buried. It's such a sad reality, some of us may not understand the import of this. I mean, even the food crisis we have to some extent is due to the fact that farmers cannot go to farm because of issues of insecurity, because they cannot access their farm. Some people may argue that insecurity is not just in the north. Yes, for somebody like me, when we talk of insecurity, we need a holistic. I mean, criminals have to be flushed out of Nigeria, whether those criminals are in the southeast, south, wherever they are. No territory should be ceded to criminals. And we shouldn't, whether Muslims are part of those that have been killed or not, the truth is criminals are having a field day in Nigeria. It ought not to be so. Some people will even say, oh, if government try to act now, people will start crying out. Government have a responsibility to protect life and property and should exercise its political view. Of course, in things like this, like the Labour Party presidential candidate said, there is need for diplomatic engagement. But how do we even start a diplomatic engagement in a system where for some years now we have not had ambassadors to some countries, even in a place like USA, Nigeria don't currently have an embassy. The report says that shows how the system has treated some issues has been treated with kid glove. You cannot, I mean, we can't continue like this. Let us wake up and solve this insecurity challenges. I know there would always be insecurity, but it can be fought to a standstill. We can come to the point that all the insecurity we have is somebody snatching somebody's phone and all those, pickpocketing and all that. As terrible as those things are, but it can be compared to the fact that criminals will invade a community and hold them to ransom for an hour, 2 hours or more, and nothing happens. And it happens repeatedly. It's unfair. Of course, the issue of human rights, there is no gainsaying. I mean, the number one right for everybody is right to life. If your right to life is taken, you can't even talk of any other right. Your freedom of speech and every other thing stems from the fact that you're even living. If you're not living, you can't talk about that. And I think our leaders should, or the leaders should stop this social media engagement, trying like the one above now, trying to engage, oh, it is not a genocide, it is. The thing is, under you guys' watch, Nigerians are being killed. You guys should come together, do something about it, whether it is Christians or Muslim. There is no point, like somebody funny enough was making a comparison of the number of people killed in Benue and Borno. There is no need for those comparisons. People are being
Nigerians
killed. Nigerians are being killed, whether they be Muslim or not. Ideally, they should be Nigerians before any other thing. Right. So you should worry whoever is responsible for protecting them, how under your watch these things are happening and nothing much is being done. We want to see action. We want to see action. We want to see criminals being flushed out of the system. We want to see them on the run.
Thank you so much for your insight on that report. I mean, so many other things I want to say as regards this report, but let's also talk about the fact that this wake-up call, like you called it, by Trump, do you think it's going to make us see less of these crimes in the coming days? Do you think it's going to have any impact to the point that this will be toned down? That's like the U.S. government has threatened they will not need to come in to try to quench it.
I hope it does so. I hope it does that. I really hope to see, on the news, the media reports yesterday talked about some criminals trying to flee into Chad or something.
They've closed down their border already.
Chad
also
closed down its borders. Right. So if that is one of the things it will do for us, if those guys can flee, maybe. But the thing is that if they flee and nothing is done on our part to tighten our security, they would come back and maybe, like, using the Bible as an example, the Bible talked about when a demon is chased out. That was Jesus himself talking, and you don't clean your house and keep it in order, the demon will come back with 7 demons more wicked than it. So if we just allow this moment go by without making anything out of it, it may come worse or not. So I think the best we can gain from it may not even be whether there will be invasion. I don't like that debate of people saying, oh, do you support Trump's call or not. Our concern now shouldn't be who supports or who doesn't support. Is what can we make out of this? How can we take advantage of this? Like I said, a wake-up call and rejig our security system. If it's going to make this guys flee, why don't you run? Let's tighten up our border. If it's going to make government wake up and do the needful, then you would have won as Nigerians, not even Trump or any other person.
Thank you so much for your insight on that report. And this is where we wrap it up on this episode of Atlantic Society Watch. Thank you, Ikechukwu, for coming on the show and giving us good insight. We are open for sponsorship of this program, jingles and advert placement, news and events coverage, personality, society and political interviews, product service promotions and commercials. Watch us live on www.atlanticnetwork.tv. We're on Avo TV channel 205, Limex TV platform, Ifestech platform, Apple TV, Ninja TV and Iroko TV. Connect with us on all our ATN socials. Subscribe, like and share. Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1. You can find us on X and Atlantic TV Net. Remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Otaria Benjamin. Stay with us. Up next is International Tidbits.